aiming at the god's body. It was too late to defend now. The god screamed in pain, blood flowing from its head. This move was perfect. Ryu Min turned and once again swung his blade in the air. I just hit its eye. He landed firmly on the ground. Ryu Min stared at the god, who was screaming in pain. He thought to himself, watching the god's health bar above its head, thanks to the death mark, it only had 60% health left. I reduced its health by 40% with one strike, not bad. Ryu Min immediately ran away without looking back. It should be preparing to set up a restriction area to find me now. The god raised its wand, and the system displayed, the god's avatar has set up a restriction area. He quickly jumped out of the magic circle, glancing back, but once it realized the restriction area couldn't catch anyone, it would destroy the area. Ryu Min dashed towards the god like lightning. His sharp gaze fixed on the god, because I had already taken one of its eyes. Ryu Min swung his scythe, forming a sharp magical wave that rushed towards the god's figure. I should take out the other eye too. The god screamed in agony, more and more wounds appeared on its body. It gently landed on the ground. The system displayed, the god's avatar has set up a restriction area. Player attributes in the area have decreased by 50%. Ryu Min sneered, this is nothing, without its eyes, it's just an empty shell of a sandbag. The god roared in anger, creating a series of sharp swords. He frowned and muttered, it seems it plans to shoot light arrows in all directions to kill me. The god's swords flew into the air, and Ryu Min stood behind it, chanting, Death Knight. Dark magic erupted, devouring those swords. The god was astonished. Ryu Min leaped up, swinging his scythe towards the god's light shadow. The darkness cannot be defeated by light because the system of this world has already been set. His eyes turned blood-red as he swung his scythe toward the god's figure. It's time to end this. Ryu Min decisively swung his scythe, striking towards the god's wing. The god screamed in pain as one of its wings fell off. The god turned sharply and glared at him. Ryu Min launched another attack on the god. He quickly dodged the god's attack. Ryu Min swung his scythe again, attacking the god's other wing. The god roared loudly as the other wing was taken away. He landed lightly on the ground. Ryu Min glanced at the god's health bar, thinking, its health has dropped to 10% now. He watched as the god stood still, quickly running further away. Let's stay a little farther for now, no need to rush to kill it. The god's body flashed with light, and the system notified that the conditions were met, activating the passive skill. The god's avatar was finally glowing brilliantly, now in an immortal state. Ryu Min stared at the god, calmly thinking, once its health drops below 10%, it enters this stage. If I had decapitated it earlier, I might not have been able to kill it now. The god roared in anger, raising its staff and creating a series of magic circles. He observed the surrounding magical waves, thinking to himself, let me see your final struggle. The god's staff triggered countless spells, and the system prompt appeared, the final glorious time remaining is 50 seconds. The god crazily attacked everywhere, and the system countdown was 30 seconds. Divine punishment forcefully thrust the staff into the ground, and the system prompted again, 10 seconds, 5 seconds. Ryu Min sneered while watching the time, the system was counting down the seconds. All of divine punishment's magic was drawn away, and the system displayed that the immortality status had been. Immediately, he charged towards divine punishment. Ryu Min coldly raised his scythe, his eyes sharp like a blade. He decisively struck at divine punishment, and the system continuously prompted, you have defeated the avatar of divine punishment. You have leveled up. You have leveled up. You have leveled up. Gold 8200, extra gold 4100. Ryu Min calmly watched as the avatar of divine punishment fell, and the system displayed, you are the first to defeat the avatar of divine punishment. The system prompted the reward title, Divine Punishment Challenger. He watched as the avatar of divine punishment gradually collapsed, and the system displayed the Divine Punishment Challenger title. The unlock condition was to be the first to defeat the avatar of divine punishment. Effect, Reduces 80% of damage from holy creatures. 2 items appeared in Ryu Min's hands, and the system gave a prompt. You have obtained refined item, first kill of divine punishments avatar reward. You have obtained glorious ancient language, first kill of divine punishments avatar reward. He tightly held on to the 2 items, and the system prompt indicated that the obtained ancient language had been automatically engraved into the player's body. Ryu Min looked at the attributes in the system panel and thought, as expected, he had obtained refinement. The system displayed refined item, an advanced refined after multiple refinements, emitting a rainbow glow. Observing from different angles, he thought this was the only reason for his kill of the avatar of divine punishment. He looked at the items in his backpack, thinking that refinement was needed to craft god-level items. Ryu Min focused on the items he had just obtained. He also acquired the glorious ancient language. The system displayed glorious ancient language effect, intelligence +1, increases the effect of holy skills by 1%, based on level. He smiled slightly, no need to worry about intelligence anymore. The system prompted that the hidden subtask had been completed, reward 3,000 gold. Everyone cheered, watching. Ryu Min did it, I survived, oh my god. They discussed in confusion, focusing on Ryu Min. Black Hook killed the avatar of divine punishment alone, truly a monster. A loud sound surprised everyone, and they turned around, truly unbelievable. Another angel hovered in the air, hands clasped, staring at Ryu Min and said, you defeated the avatar of divine punishment alone, this is the first time. Oliver, I admit the power of one person. Angel Oliver flew beside him and enthusiastically asked, shall I interview you, player Black Hook? Why did you kill the avatar of divine punishment? Ryu Min exhaled lightly, finding the questions boring, and coldly replied, because I wanted to. Angel Oliver frowned, staring at him in confusion, you only need to survive to receive the reward, why did you risk everything just because you wanted to? Ryu Min answered, I couldn't just watch it kill all the players. Everyone was stunned by what he said. He stood out to help us. I thought someone this strong would be arrogant, but I didn't expect him to be quite kind. Seems his character is pretty good. Angel Oliver rested her chin, thinking, then said, standing out to save your companions. I heard humans are strange, and it's true. You can ignore all conflicts and unite together. She waved her hand lightly, her tone full of annoyance, I really don't understand. Ryu Min thought to himself, these selfish angels, what do you know? Angel Oliver scanned the group of players and coldly said, you've worked hard to survive, but it's not time to relax yet. She raised the corners of her mouth, her smile carrying a dangerous edge, remember, whether you are eliminated or not, the final result depends on your overall performance. We will see the results. The system displays, round 3 results, in all areas, Black Falcon at level 30 has killed 3,631 enemies, the foolish level. Mage has killed 982, the level 13 Dark Magic Knight has killed 963. Current area X 45-5, Black Falcon at level has killed 3,631, and Shangchuan at level 11 Knight has killed 687, Sue Allen at level 11 Summoner has killed 576. Everyone gasped in amazement, their eyes fixed on the system panel. Did Black Falcon kill over 3,600 monsters alone? The second place player didn't even reach 1,000. The display shows he is level 30, it's insane, did he get experience boosts? Lu Min pondered, indeed he received an experience boost, but this could only be known by ranking first in all areas. System notification, congratulations, you have completed the task, ranking first in all areas. Congratulations, you have completed the task, ranking first in the current area. The reward for being first in all areas is sunshine. Select special reward, system prompt, your reward for ranking first in the current area is the mid-level rare ring selection voucher. He clicked the system panel repeatedly, thinking to himself, it's time to select the mid-level ring. System notification, you can choose one of the following rings as your reward, please click your choice. Ring of Wind, Blue Magic Ring, Resistance Ring. He chose one item. Although by name, it seemed the weakest, he selected the Resistance Ring. System displays, Resistance Ring attributes, Rare Level Ring, Luck 4, Resistance 35, Durability 450/450. Normal or above level restriction. Description, this ring helps resist adverse status effects. Lu Min focused on the item, thinking, no matter how high my attributes are, once affected by adverse status effects, I'm basically dead. Resistance doesn't increase with attributes, so choosing this now is the best. Although it's not very necessary now, the monsters mostly deal damage, and there aren't many adverse status effects yet. He continued to think, then the system notification came, you can choose one of the following rewards, please click your choice. Reward, increase 50% of attributes, only applicable to round 4, 4,000 coins. Information for round 4. Lu Min remained focused on reviewing each reward. Indeed, there were no bonus effects, just triple experience points. Anyway, the goal for round 4 wasn't to kill monsters. He pressed the selection button, then I'll choose the second option, coins. Angel Oliver pressed her hands together and slyly said, so, humans, have you seen your rankings? Players ranked below 1,225 will be eliminated. Everyone panicked and begged, Angel, wait. I think the system calculated wrong. I killed so many monsters, why is my rank so low? A hint of disdain flashed in her eyes as she sneered, those little bugs didn't even make it into the top 1,225. Oliver smiled cunningly, snapped her fingers, eliminate them now. They screamed in terror, bound by magic, crying out in pain, help me. System notification, round 3 ends, survivors from all areas, 214,007,550. Current area X 45-5, survivors, 1,225. Souls will be transferred to the current round spatial body. The next round will begin on November 21st, 2023. We will meet again in the next round. Congratulations on surviving. Alan suddenly woke up, sat up, panting heavily. She looked down at her hands, then touched her face, excitedly thinking, I'm back, and I survived round 3. Alan hurriedly got out of bed and rushed downstairs. No, besides that, I also got the summoner class. She smiled and looked up at the winged creature that had just appeared, summoning the fairy spirit. Alan gently smiled, watching the winged creature resting on her shoulder. It always stays by her side, accompanying her through every round. I was able to safely complete round 3 because these adorable spirits shielded me, and my guardians diverted the enemy's attention. There's another reason. Erin focused on the system panel in front of her, thinking to herself that she was ranked in the top 3. She reached out and took an item from the system panel. Erin held the magic stone in her hand, wondering if the black dog would like the magic stone she had just received as a reward. Young Min reached out and grabbed the bedside lamp. He threw the bedside lamp at the wall, and the lamp shattered into pieces, then he screamed loudly. Young Min gritted his teeth and roared in anger, damn it, black dog. The system notification said all attributes were permanently reduced by 50%. He turned and walked quickly toward the bed, cursing in his mind, damn it, if I had known this would happen, I wouldn't have ordered them to destroy the relics. The phone rang, startling him. Young Min answered the phone. When he saw the screen on the phone, his face instantly turned pale, it's over. Young Min looked at the phone in confusion and saw that Sung Han was calling. He thought, it's over for me. He picked up the phone and heard Sung Han shouting on the other end, hello, are you crazy? Sung Han gritted his teeth and listened to Young Min speak, what the hell is wrong with you guys? He angrily cursed, stop pretending. Don't you know that because of you, the fate of our group is ruined? How could you use your command power to manipulate your friends and still call yourself human? Young Min loudly defended himself, hey, Tao, I had no choice. If I didn't do what they said, I would have been dealt with by the black dog. Sung Han, after hearing this, said, then you should have just died. This left him stunned. He continued angrily, saying harsh words, rather than hurting your friends, you might as well have died. Yongmin angrily retorted, bastard, what kind of fairness is this? Didn't you see my attributes were reduced because I became a regional representative? Sung Han immediately lost his patience and scolded him, as if you're the only one who was weakened. We were all used by our friends. If you hadn't been so greedy for that regional representative position, none of this would have happened. You rebellious dog. The voice on the other end became increasingly uncontrolled, making Yongmin fall silent. He anxiously shouted, hey, Kim Sung. But Sung Han didn't listen and decisively declared, don't call me again, either. In the real world or that world. Pretend you never knew me. Because if I see you again, I will go crazy and kill you. He sighed helplessly and looked at the phone in his hand. Then he kept dialing other people's numbers, thinking, what did I do wrong? How did it turn out like this? I'm also a victim. He thought in his mind that he should have someone else overpower that bastard, but the phone displayed, the number you dialed cannot be reached, which shocked him. As the call was still not over, Yongmin, furious, threw the phone away, please try again later. He cursed at those bastards. Then he fell silent, standing there deep in thought, right, friends? I don't need them, everyone has their own life. What did that guy say? If he sees me again, he will kill me. Does he want to fight with me? Immediately, he gritted his teeth in anger, if you run into me again, I'll kill you all. In a hotel, an echo came, come in, Captain On. A question sounded, did you come back alive again this time? On Sang Chul lowered his head and answered, I was lucky. Jiang Rock leisurely sat at the desk and asked him, the third round must have been a bit difficult, are you alright? He replied, yes, I didn't face too many difficulties, maybe the monsters got weaker. Jiang Rock continued to inquire, what level are you now? Do you have a profession? Sang Chul politely answered, report, I'm level 11. I'm a knight. Oh, by the way, Seo Arin is at the same level as me. He then added, but her profession is different. She's a summoner. This surprised Jiang Rock, a summoner. He spoke up, that's impressive. I didn't expect that to be an unconventional profession. Sang Chul raised his hand in recollection, I was also surprised. After changing her profession, she summoned an elemental spirit to act as a shield. Thanks to her, I could hunt safely. Jiang Rock thought for a moment and complimented, nice. He said with interest, keep the relationship with Seo Arin like it is now. If you like, you can date her. Hearing this, he was somewhat confused, date her? What do you mean? He smirked and explained, I just mean that. Dating would make it easier to discover each other's weaknesses. I'm not saying you should seriously date her. Sang Chul asked in confusion, so, should I date her? Seeing Sang Chul like this, he smiled happily, it's been a while since I've seen you so confused. He said, if it's too troublesome, forget it. After hearing the answer, Sang Chul breathed a sigh of relief, ah. I understand. Anyway, Seo Arin doesn't like me. Jiang Rock curiously asked, why? You're so reliable and manly. He answered, she's still polite to me and calls me bodyguard brother. He casually said, is that so? He put the topic aside, crossed his legs, and asked, all right then. What is the urgent report you want to give me? He nervously lowered his head, First, I want to apologize to you. He asked, why? Sang Chul bluntly admitted his mistake, I didn't properly carry out the command to assist Hak Ka, nor did I pass your message to him. Jiang Rock replied calmly, is that so? Then you must have a reason, right? He answered, yes, this is how it happened. Then, the two sat down to listen to Sang Chul's explanation. He listened silently, focusing on his story. After listening, he raised his hand, touched his mouth, and thought, the avatar of the punishment god. Sounds like a powerful opponent. So, Hak Ka killed him. Sang Chul replied, yes, he used a suppression skill to deal with it, as if he knew how to win. He hesitated to express his feelings. Hak Ka seems like someone who doesn't need help from others. Jiang Rock seriously thought, it turns out he's even stronger than we imagined. Strong enough that I feel a bit ashamed compared to the dark ancient language knight. His eyes turned golden, full of expectation. Hak Ka, if I get the chance, I want to meet him. Then he said, you have your reasons, so I won't hold you accountable. While Sang Chul continued to apologize, I'm sorry. He picked up the wine glass and casually said, all right, enough. How's the investigation into those little thugs going? He reported, the first person's nickname is Huang Yongmin. If that's his real name, there are dozens of people with the same name nationwide. But if he's around 20 years old and lives in Seoul, then there are only about 5 people left. Jiang Rock asked, what about their locations? He awkwardly replied, the detective agency said it would take a month to confirm their addresses. He sighed with some disappointment, a month? Then we'll have to wait until the 4th round to find out. He poured wine for him, yes, no rush, we can take our time. He curiously asked, how much gold have you saved? He answered, about 10,000 gold. Jiang Rock thought for a moment and reminded, that's already half. There's a common skill in the store called tracking. When you have 20,000 gold, remember to learn it. Sang Chul responded alertly, got it. Then he remembered something else and immediately reported, oh, sir, I got distracted and forgot to tell you. Last month, a shareholder bought a large number of shares in your company. He questioned, you're talking about my company? Which company? He quickly replied, Tianhua Consulting, the company you're focusing on now. He pondered, oh. Jiang Rock put down his wine glass, how much of a stake did that person buy? Sang Chul revealed, please don't be too shocked, they bought 31% of the shares. He froze, what? One person bought 31% of the shares. He confirmed, yes, when I saw it on the screen, I couldn't believe my eyes. He thought, Tianhua Consulting's market value is 900 billion Korean won. So 31% of the shares means that person invested 280 billion Korean won. One person has so much money. His eyes turned yellow, focusing intently, is it some rich person I don't know? Or did my brothers do this? Then Jiang Rock reached for the phone, anyway, I'm sure that person invested 31% to directly participate in management. Holding the phone, he asked, Captain On, what's the contact info for that major shareholder? The other person was also on the phone, waiting. It was Yumin, eagerly expecting, it should be him contacting me now. I can't call him first. As the major shareholder, I have to maintain face. Suddenly, Yu1 rushed in and burst through the door, bro, what level are you at now? It startled him, and the phone fell on his face. He sat up painfully and asked in confusion, why are you suddenly asking me this? Yu1 hurriedly said. There's this guy who's so arrogant, he keeps bragging about how his brother's level is really high. He said angrily, they always make fun of me, saying his brother is only level 11 and has already gotten a profession. Yumin sighed helplessly, level 11. I'm higher than him, don't worry. Yu1 asked skeptically, really? Then what level are you? He rubbed his neck, awkwardly thinking, how should I tell her? If I tell the truth, I might run into a lot of trouble. Then, he lied, level 12. Yu1 excitedly asked, really? Then you must have a profession, right? He replied, of course. This made Yu1 even more curious, what profession? What profession? But Yumin simply covered herself with the blanket and lay down, it's a secret. This disappointed Yu1, who said, forget it, there can't be secrets between brothers. He coldly answered, there are, of course. You can go out, I need to sleep a bit more. Yu1 walked out angrily, fine. He slammed the door shut. At this moment, Lu Min's phone rang. He picked it up, it's here. He sat up and answered the phone, hello. A voice on the other end said, may I speak with Mr. Lu Min? He replied, yes, who's this? The person introduced themselves. Hello, I'm Ma Jiang Rock, Executive Director of Tianma Consulting. Upon hearing this, he smiled and thought, I should pretend to be clueless at first. The more I seem like an easy target, the more he'll relax his guard. Lu Min said, oh, hello. Ma Jiang Rock happily asked, last month, you invested a large sum into our company, right? He pretended not to know. What's the matter? He wanted to meet Lu Min. Since you've become the largest shareholder of Tianma Consulting, I'd like to meet you. I'd like to treat you to a meal. He replied, oh, okay. Ma Jiang Rock happily said, great. Ma Jiang Rock proposed, how about this Friday? Lu Min flipped open his calendar, thinking, this Friday is important to me, I can gain some ancient wisdom on inner thoughts. He suggested, I have plans this Friday, it won't work. How about Saturday? Ma Jiang Rock immediately agreed, okay, we'll meet on Saturday. He propped his hand up, a bit curious inside, great, I knew Ma Jiang Rock would call. After all, he founded Tianma Consulting to gain his father's approval. He wouldn't treat a major shareholder badly. Lu Min excitedly said, before meeting Ma Jiang Rock, I should go get some of the ancient wisdom I need, right? In another space, there are many ways to obtain ancient wisdom. It can be found in certain fixed locations, or as special rewards. It could also drop from defeating monster bosses. Or, in rare cases, ordinary monsters might drop it, but that can happen. However, Lu Min discovered a little-known method, which is that you can also obtain ancient wisdom in real life. He walked into a large warehouse. He climbed the stairs, knowing in his mind, of course, the conditions for ancient wisdom to appear are a bit complicated. He hid in a corner, thinking, soon, Zhang Xixian will appear here. Lu Min recalled with dissatisfaction the nickname, Zhang Xixian is also his real name. I'll never forget this name because he was the one who kidnapped my brother. I still remember his voice from that time. When Zhang Xixian kidnapped Lu Yuan, he asked, do you want to see him? Then he held a knife to Lu Min's neck and threatened, then you'll have to pay the price and tell me hidden information that no one else knows. At the time, he tried to explain, what is this nonsense? How could I know any information? Upon hearing what he said, he laughed. Then he turned and glared at Lu Min, don't lie to me. You're a fake returner. Lu Min froze, what? How did he know? Just as he was feeling confused, Zhang Xixian walked over and said, you're wondering how I knew, right? I have thought wisdom, and I used it to scan your brother's thoughts. Of course, I know what you're thinking right now. Then, he lay still in the pool of blood on the ground while Lu Min helped Lu Yuan leave. After that incident, I've been looking for opportunities to take revenge on Zhang Xixian ever since my 11th return. That's why my goal has no personal grudges, but... He then put on a mask. His gaze was full of determination, I will definitely get the ancient sayings of inner thoughts before that guy. Immediately, the door of the warehouse was opened, and Suk Hyun walked in carrying a woman. It's today, here. He threw her onto the mat on the ground. Then, he ripped the tape off her mouth and said, I'll rip the tape off, don't scream, understand? As soon as the tape was removed, she fearfully pleaded, please, let me go. I beg you. He pointed at her and said, bored, damn, is this all you can say? Try saying something else. Suk Hyun held the tape, his face darkened, help. I have a child, I'll give you money. I don't want to hear this boring stuff. This made the woman tremble in fear, sorry. I'm sorry. He threw the tape aside and asked, why are you apologizing? The woman kneeled, hands clasped, and replied. You're doing this because I was rude to you the day before yesterday, right? I'm really sorry. Hearing this, he stepped forward and asked, yeah. What did you do that made you feel sorry? He continued, I was in a bad mood that day, you know. The night before, Suk Hyun was walking around the streets, thinking, which woman should I choose today? I think just one woman can solve all my problems. Then, he noticed a girl with a good figure. He turned around and looked at her back. Then he followed her into an alley, looking around. Seeing no one, Suk-hyun quickened his pace and walked toward the girl. He immediately emitted light, blocking the girl's path, which startled her. He caused her eyes to go blurry with his hand, making her panic. My eyes. I can't see anything. Her items and buttons fell to the ground, accompanied by her scream. Who are you? Chi-han. After doing his bad deed, he left, smugly leaving her behind. Ah, I really enjoy this. The situation now makes me feel like I can do anything I want. It's so satisfying. He had previously been in a reform center. My previous life was so boring. I don't care if I die. Then, that day, he found the ancient sayings. The glowing ancient sayings could make the body glow and blind the other person's eyes. For him, this was a new source of fun. These ancient sayings are perfect, they allow me to find fun. He walked into a store. The female clerk greeted him enthusiastically. Welcome. Suk-hyun grinned wickedly. She's really quite beautiful. He walked to the counter and ordered, give me a large iced Americano. She politely replied, sure, your order is 5,000 Korean won. After paying, he tentatively asked, oh, are you a part-time worker here? I'm a regular customer, but you're not one of the regular staff I usually see. She forced a smile and replied, oh, so you're a regular. I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you. All part-time workers are off right now. You know, the world is so strange now. After hearing this, he thought, that makes sense. They could die at any time, who has time for part-time jobs? Suk-hyun started a conversation with her while she was preparing a drink. Are you the owner of this store? She replied, yes. He continued, how old are you? You look pretty young. She answered, I'm 32 years old. After learning her age, he smiled and said, so you're not the type to have fun, huh? She replied, yes, I'm quite happy. He then leaned in directly, can I have your phone number? I like you. This made her a little flustered. Seeing her silently stare at him in confusion, he asked, what's wrong? He then showed a dissatisfied attitude, why are you making that face? Do you dislike me? She panicked and said, what? He yelled, do you find the bumps on my face disgusting? Suk-hyun angrily slammed the table and cursed, damn it. This is so annoying. I won't drink that coffee, refund me. It's disgusting. Seeing his attitude, the woman was cautious. She fearfully returned the money to him, then, the money, here's your refund. Immediately, he rudely snatched the money from her. Suk-hyun angrily walked out of the store, you bitch. Just because I'm good looking, you judge me by my appearance, look down on others. In his anger, he decided, I'm going to make you pay for looking down on me. Then, as she walked out of the store, he knocked her unconscious with a stick. Back in the present, she could only kneel on the ground and beg him, sorry. He scolded her, woman, don't look down on others because of their appearance, understood? She obediently answered, I won't do that again. Suddenly, Suk-hyun turned his face and showed a dissatisfied expression, this won't do, you're not being sincere. Then, he shoved the woman to the ground. He grabbed her hands, do you think I don't know? You're pretending to apologize just to free yourself. She kept begging, please. Let me go. A figure appeared in the distance. He reached out toward the woman, showing a wicked smile, haven't you already realized your mistake? Now that you know, pay the price for it. She struggled and shouted, I was wrong. It's my fault, is that okay? He smugly replied, exactly, so just stay put. The figure was getting closer. A voice came, stay there, understood? Hearing this voice, Suk-hyun was startled and froze. He was confused, what the hell is this? I thought no one was here. Is he a detective? He suddenly turned around and shouted, damn, who's there? The voice calmly replied, don't curse. Ryu Min appeared holding a scythe and declared, anyway, you'll be screaming sooner or later. Suk-hyun stood stunned. What's with that huge scythe? And the white mask? He sneered at him, this madman. Do you think this is a place to play with toys? Ryu-min raised the scythe. Looks like you haven't figured out the situation yet. Do you think this is a toy? He suddenly swung the scythe. He began to panic. Wait, wait. Then he shouted loudly, is this real? What? What are you playing at? He sneered, so stupid. What do you think? Then, he looked at the woman and said, this lady can leave now, this is her only chance. Suk-hyun turned around and yelled at her, who said that? A noise sounded from the ground. It was the sound of Ryu-min stepping off the ground and quickly rushing toward him. He gripped the handle of the scythe and lunged at his vital point. Suk-hyun, in excruciating pain, kneeled on the ground, shouting in agony and cursing, damn it. He calmly stood in front of him and said, I told you, you'd keep cursing. Ryu-min turned to the woman and said, go ahead, leave this guy to me. She gratefully thanked him, thank you, thank you. As she ran off, he swung the scythe at the ground and said, now it's just the two of us, right? Ryu-min looked at Suk-hyun and smiled, let's start the real game now. He angrily picked up a dagger from the ground, stood up, and cursed, damn you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you, you dog. He quietly watched him and taunted, your attitude isn't bad. If you'd given up earlier, what would have been the point? Then Suk-hyun swung the knife wildly, but he dodged all of his attacks. His attacks became sluggish, panic setting in, what the hell is this? How did he dodge all my attacks? As he dodged an attack, Ryu-min glanced at the dagger, didn't expect you to still be carrying a goblin's dagger. He then swung the scythe sharply, aiming for his hand. The pain of his severed arm made Suk-hyun scream in agony. Seeing this, Ryu-min slipped a hand into his pants pocket and asked, does it hurt? Watching him tremble and clutch his arm, he said, I haven't even started yet. He then moved at incredible speed. In the blink of an eye, he dodged and severed Suk-hyun's remaining arm. Hearing his scream, Ryu-min coldly said, look at how you're overreacting. At this point, he was trembling in fear, thinking, if this continues, he'll kill me. If I want to leave here alive. He looked at him, trying to find a way to escape, thinking he should blind this bastard's eyes. Then he activated his ability, creating an invisible light, and shouted, die, you little bastard. Just as he was about to attack fiercely, he suddenly stopped. Suk-hyun panicked, what happened? Why didn't it work? Ryu-min quietly looked at him, you can shine all you want, it's useless. Death Knight doesn't allow any light source to exist. He had already planned ahead, I knew he would use this trick, so I activated the Death Knight skill in advance. He smiled and said, shall we have some fun? He decided in his mind, even without Death Knight, I would still sever his wrists and ankles first. With that, he swung the scythe. Ryu-min decisively chopped off Suk-hyun's 2 legs. He fell to the ground, accompanied by a scream of agony. Filled with fear and pain, tears streamed down his face as he questioned him, you demon. Why are you doing this to me? Why? He spoke, why? At the same time, the scythe moved again. It pierced into his thigh. Ryu-min withdrew the scythe and retorted, then why do people get rid of pests? He then asked and answered himself, because letting them live only causes harm. Every word he spoke was another strike to his body. But Suk-hyun still didn't change his attitude, cursing arrogantly, damn, you madman. Seeing this, he said, let's see how long you can keep this attitude. Soon, the room was filled with blood and screams. Suk-hyun lay on the ground, his body covered in wounds. In his heart, he wondered, damn it. Why is this guy doing this to me? What did I ever do to him? He angrily said, this is so unfair, so fucking unfair. He bit his lip and hesitated, rather than enduring this torture, maybe I should just kill myself. Tears poured out as he tightly closed his eyes, preparing to bite his tongue to end his life, then. I'll just die. But then, Ryu-min's scythe pressed tightly against Suk-hyun's neck, surprising him. He looked up at him, full of questions. Ryu Min looked at him coldly. What's wrong? Planning to bite your tongue and die? You think I'll just let you go like this? He declared, you can't die until you kneel and beg me to end it. After saying that, the scythe once again swung toward his body. Then, it kept swinging at Suk-hyun's body. He turned pale from the torture. He thought to himself, I have to make this pain stop. He trembled and said, kill, please. Ryu Min stood there watching and asked, what did you say? Suk-hyun begged, kill me, please. He asked in confusion, are you serious? Suk-hyun was still lying on the ground, pleading, please, kill me. He sighed. He placed the scythe on his shoulder and asked, don't you know why? Do I have to do this? After all, we're total strangers. Lu Min revealed, actually, it's not completely accurate to say he was a stranger. Zhang Shixian was like this. We met before. Shixian was stunned. Does he know my name? He curiously asked, don't tell me you have something to do with that woman. He turned around and replied, no, I have nothing to do with her. He wondered, then why? Lu Min said, you kidnapped my brother and threatened me to tell you hidden information. Shixian couldn't remember and asked, did I do that? But I. He continued, to me, that's already in the past. If I don't intervene now, you will get the ancient language of reverse thinking. Upon hearing this, he still didn't understand what the ancient language of reverse thinking was. Lu Min told him, there is a hidden ancient language here. Do you know the condition for it to appear? It's hearing another person's sincere voice. He was still confused. Sincere voice? He explained, it's a voice that comes from the heart and is not hypocritical. He looked at him with disdain. If I hadn't shown up, you would have raped and threatened that woman. She would have used her sincere voice to beg you to spare her. At that point, you would have obtained the ancient language of reverse thinking and used it to do more evil. Shixian remained silent in the face of his accusations. He continued, this has been verified by my multiple returns. Even if it wasn't because of this, your 12 judgments are enough to prove you're a damn bastard. He pleaded, if I deserve to die, then please kill me quickly. But he refused, no, I won't touch you. These words shocked him because he couldn't end his suffering immediately. He extended the handle of the scythe. Lu Min pressed it tightly against Shixian's mouth, preventing him from speaking. He looked at him with disgust. What do you think I was doing just now? I was waiting for you to die on your own. He was in pain but couldn't ask, I clearly said I wanted to die quickly, it's too painful to bear. Didn't you want the ancient language of reverse thinking? Didn't you want to hear the sincere voice from my heart? He closed his eyes tightly, feeling the pain. Then why won't you let me speak? Why? He read his thoughts. And answered, I won't let you speak because I want to try the ancient language of reverse thinking. Shixian's eyes widened. What? He said coldly, sorry, but I already obtained the ancient language. Don't you remember? You already sincerely begged me to kill you. That was your inner voice. When he suffered pain from his limbs being cut, Lu Min sensed it. At that time, the ancient language responded to his sincere voice. At that moment, the system prompt appeared, you made the target use their sincere voice, the activation condition has been met. You discovered the hidden ancient language of reverse thinking here. The ancient language hovered in front of him, emitting light. The system prompt said, the ancient language will automatically imprint into the player's body. Effect, reads the thoughts of the target in front of you. If you observe the target, you can slightly read their inner purpose. Can only be used within a 30-meter range of the target. Then it fragmented and merged into Lu Min's body. He calmly said, let me try its effect. As you can see, the ancient language is very effective. Upon hearing this, he couldn't respond, only thinking to himself, you've already gotten what you wanted, so hurry up and kill me. He answered his inner doubt, forget it, how could I kill you so easily? That would be too unfair to all your victims. The last thing Shixian could think of was, damn demon. His body was completely still. He stood up, looked at the motionless body, and thought, he's dead, there should be no one to testify. But I need to clean up this mess. I'll use the ordinary skill I just learned. Lu Min immediately used erase traces. Its effect appeared, ordinary skill, erase traces effect, erase all traces at the scene, including the body, blood, fingerprints, and footprints. Then, everything was covered by a green glow. Watching the glow gradually disappear, he was sure it was effective. It's best not to leave any mess behind. After completing the task, Lu Min took off the mask and left, preparing for the next plan. Now that I have what I want, tomorrow I should meet Ma Qinglu. Morning in the city center. Seeing Lu Min dressed sharply, Lu Yuan was surprised. Lu Min looked at him and asked curiously, "Brother, are you going on a date today?" He denied it, putting his hands in his pockets. How could it be a date? Lu Yuan asked suspiciously, "Have you ever dressed this formally before?" He replied, "This is an important occasion. I'm preparing to meet a business partner." Lu Yuan was stunned, stepping forward to ask, "Are you planning to enter the business field?" Lu Min didn't answer, just nodded and continued to use his phone. Lu Yuan, seeing this, grabbed his hair, worried. A few days ago, he invested all his funds in the stock market, and now he's doing business. What if he fails? He'll be very upset. Seeing his brother's thoughts, Lu Min happily breathed a sigh of relief. Rather than worrying about our financial situation, he's still worried about me. How cute. Then he smiled confidently and said, "If the meeting goes well, I'll tell you in detail." "Don't worry, trust me, brother, right?" Lu Yuan immediately replied, "I believe. Who else can I trust?" Lu Min reminded him, "Just wait here for me, it's dangerous outside, there are other players around." He nervously followed Lu Min out of the room. I saw on the news, they committed crimes using their abilities. I also heard that abroad, they are dealing with criminals using powers to escape prison. Lu Min said seriously, "That's right. If the age requirements are met, even criminals can have the chance to become players." He understood that the players' power was growing stronger and the population was decreasing every month. So if there is no change, that would be strange. He recalled, and in the future, for a period of time, ordinary people will be hunted like prey and treated like slaves. At that time, the power of the players will reach its peak. So, Lu Min was very determined. Before the world becomes such an unordered place, I must become strong enough to crush everything, while also improving the reputation of Black Kite. He turned back and reminded Lu Yuan. "Tell Chuj to be careful if he goes out." Lu Yuan agreed, "Okay. When will you tell me about your business?" But he just said, "It's a secret." This made Lu Yuan very curious. "I'm so curious." He reached out and pinched Lu Yuan's face, seriously reminding him, "I'll tell you as soon as possible, stop nagging. Just wait. Here and order lunch yourself. Get something more expensive than black sauce noodles, okay?" Lu Yuan answered, "Got it." Lu Min stood in front of a luxurious hotel, looking around. As I guessed, he arranged to meet here. Just like in a soccer game, the home field always has an advantage. He walked into the hotel. The place Ma Qinglu chose for lunch is nominally owned by the Osen Group, but in reality, it's one of Qinglu's hotels. Of course, this is top secret information, and probably only he knows this fact. He walked toward the front desk. Oh no, maybe his relatives know too. I need to use this information to make myself more valuable in his eyes. He pretended to look around, acting innocent. I need to act like my character first, the more innocent, the better. He deliberately acted shy. "Hello, I'm here for a date. I was told to go to the front desk." The female receptionist professionally asked, "Are you here to meet with the chairman of Tianhua Consulting?" He answered, "That's right." She stepped out and guided Lu Min. "The chairman will be here soon, you can sit over there." He looked down and smiled, "Okay, thank you." Sitting in the chair, he looked around as if everything was unfamiliar. "Great, now I just need to sit there and act dumb, pretending to be one of those country folks who just arrived in the city. He looked up at the chandelier and intentionally said loudly, "That chandelier is so cool." Someone walked up to him and asked, "Are you Lu Min?" He thought, finally, he's here. Lu Min quickly stood up, "Yes. It's me." Upon seeing him, Anshanja looked a little surprised. He extended his hand, curiously asking, "Have we met before?" "At the Galleria Forest Long-Term Hotel?" He acknowledged, "Yes. I think we bumped into each other when I moved in. I brought rice cakes to visit, and you were with actress Su A-Lin." He politely looked down and said, "Yes, I'm sorry for my improper behavior back then." Shanja was stunned. He looks younger than 20, and this little guy is the major shareholder who invested 280 billion Korean won. Seeing his attitude, Lu Min understood what he was thinking. He must be doubting me. It's hard to believe someone my age could have so much money. His reaction is probably normal. He scratched his neck and acted friendly. "It's okay, we're not really familiar. I didn't expect the chairman of MANHWA Consulting to live right above me." Shanja awkwardly explained, "Don't misunderstand, I'm not the chairman." He put his hand on his chest and introduced himself. "Sorry for the late introduction. I'm Shanja, the department head. The chairman is a bit late, so I'm here first." He pointed towards the door, "Let's go inside and wait." He responded, "Okay." After entering the room, Shanja had him sit at the table while he stepped out. "Please wait here for a moment." He nodded politely, stepped out, and took out his phone to send a text message. He sent the message, "Dear Chairman, I met that kid in person. There's no way he could have invested so much money himself. Someone must be sending him as a representative, so please be careful." Lu Min sat inside, feeling proud. I was right. He had Shanja come in first to scout. For such an important meeting, someone as cautious as Mo Jinghe would never be late by accident. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps caught his attention. Jinghe walked in and greeted, "Hello, I am Mo Jinghe, chairman of MANHWA Consulting." He extended his hand, wanting to shake his hand. He shook his hand and introduced himself, "I'm Lu Min." He politely said, "Please sit down." He sat down and replied, "Okay." He then said, "Ministerin, please sit beside me." He replied, "Okay." Lu Min sat down, thinking. He decided to let Anshanja attend this meeting without asking me. It seems like he plans to take the initiative. Ma Jinglu spoke up, "Before we get down to business, let's have lunch. I've prepared Korean food, I hope it suits your taste." Then, a team of people brought in the dishes. Looking at the lavish spread on the table, he pretended to really like it. In such a luxurious hotel, everything tastes great. Lu Min then picked up some dishes and ate while praising, "It's really delicious." Ma Jinglu calmly said, "I'm glad you like it, now I can relax." Watching his behavior, he thought, Ministerin is right. He's too young, there's no way he could have invested 280 billion Korean won himself. Even if he had the money, he wouldn't dare to do it. He must be partnering with someone. Ma Jinglu became curious, who sent him here? Was it my brothers, or his uncle? He decided, I just need to figure it out. Then, he started probing, "When I first met you, I was really surprised, Lu Min. I didn't expect our major shareholder to be so young. May I ask how old you are?" He replied, "I'm 20 years old." Upon hearing this, Ma Jinglu's expression showed surprise. He pretended to remain calm, but a hint of embarrassment appeared on his face. 20 years old. I'm 29. It's nice to meet someone my age. Lu Min replied, "Yes, I'm happy too." He continued to ask, "So, how can someone so young make so much money? Are you the son of a chaebol?" Lu Min looked at him. He's really direct. He shook his head and smiled, saying, "No, not at all. I'm just an ordinary student, until a few months ago." Ma Jinglu asked curiously, "Until a few months ago?" He replied, "Yes." "Have you seen the news recently?" He asked back, "What do you mean?" Lu Min asked him, "Did you see the person who won the lottery 4 times in a row and suddenly became a millionaire?" He replied, I saw that news. He revealed, that's me. I'm the one who won the lottery 4 times in a row. He was stunned. What? Then he asked in disbelief, really? You're the person mentioned in the news a few months ago who won big? He admitted, yes. Seeing his confusion, Ma Jinglu asked, according to the news, the total prize was about 6 billion Korean won, but how did you make 28 billion Korean won? He explained, I also invested a bit in Bitcoin. This answer made Ma Jinglu somewhat skeptical. Bitcoin? That's simple. He politely replied, yes. He continued, you're really hard to believe. What made you invest 6 billion Korean won in Bitcoin? I don't think I could do that. Shangja looked at Lu Min and said, it seems you're really lucky. He replied, it's not luck. Shangja recalled, by the way. I remember a report saying you mentioned the numbers on the lottery ticket were from a dream you had. If that's not luck. He calmly said, I didn't dream about it. This made them even more curious, then how did that happen? He turned to look at Ma Jinglu, thinking, this is the only way I can make Ma Jinglu accept me and stand by my side. He deliberately acted mysterious, this is the first time I'm telling someone about this. But I have an ancient prophecy that allows me to see the future. This made them feel incredulous and very confused. Lu Min continued to reveal, this ancient prophecy helped me see things happening in the coming years. In other words, he calmly said, I'm a prophet, and I can foresee the future. Shangja and Jinglu looked at him in confusion. He thought in confusion, what did I just hear? He sat there stunned, thinking, a prophet? What is this kid talking about? He asked him again, are you serious? He placed both hands on the table, his posture very firm, why would I lie to you? He quickly asked after hearing this, so, did you win the lottery because you used your prophecy to see the future? He happily explained, that's right. This is also the reason I invested in Bitcoin. Because I can see the future, I was able to confidently invest all my money into it. He looked at him with a disbelieving expression, if you don't mind, could you prove it to me? If you can, could you predict what I'm going to do next? He paused for a moment, thinking. It's easy to predict what he'll do next because I can read his mind, but for safety, it's better to set some limits on my ability first. He placed his hand on his chest and said seriously, I'm sorry, but I cannot use this ability casually. It activates suddenly, and I cannot control it. He thought to himself, if a prophecy can see the future, it's understandable that it has such limitations. He picked up his cup to take a drink. Is that so? Suddenly, Jinglu remembered something. He shouted, you, Lu Min. So how did you invest 28 billion Korean won in our company? He replied, yes. I know that Tianma Consulting will become very powerful in the future, so I invested in it. He asked in confusion, what do you mean by powerful? Lu Min explained, within 6 months, your company will successfully enter the Kospi list, with no problems at all. After hearing this, his eyes lit up. He struggled to suppress his excitement and thought to himself, if this comes true, that would be great. Not only would I get my father's approval, but I could also take the chairman's position. I seem to be getting too excited, smiling this happily over information I haven't verified yet. He continued eating while saying, however, if you want to succeed, you need to completely change your business model. Shangja, upon hearing this, asked in confusion, what? Business model? He slammed his hand on the table and shouted angrily, this request is too much. And now you're telling us to change our business model? You might as well tell us to change the company name. Seeing him lose his composure, he immediately stopped him, unit leader and. Nevertheless, he remained very calm and continued eating, because the business model will change, it's only natural to change the name. His provocation made him even angrier, are you serious? He showed a slightly unhappy expression, do you still think I'm joking? You're all businessmen, you should understand. Exposing my prophecy to others is extremely harmful and disadvantageous. His words left the two of them speechless. They calmed down, and he said, I've already considered this issue, but I still decided to share my prophecy with you. As a major shareholder and future business partner, I want to help the company grow. He sighed, it seems you don't trust my abilities anymore. He looked at him discontentedly and